Alright, so time to change the power steering fluid. So here's where your power steering fluid is. And the reason I'm changing it is because during a very hot day and driving a lot of miles, my power steering pump would start to make a noise, a whining noise, whenever turning the steering wheel. But after it cooled down, it never did it since, so I'm thinking that the oil is just bad and it was getting overheated and it wasn't lubricating the way it's supposed to. So first I made this contraption out of a turkey baster. So I bought this turkey baster and then a 1/4 inch inner diameter tube, just a little plastic tube there, and then I got a 1/4 inch barb fitting to put between the turkey baster and the tube. Then I electrical taped it over to seal it so that we could suck it out. So you need this so that you can get inside the power steering fluid tank there and suck out this fluid. Alright, so I want to stick some paper towels down around here to catch any mess that I might make. I got myself a container here to put the old oil in. I'm just going to use the lid to try to keep the fluid from dribbling everywhere. Here you can see just how dirty the old fluid was that I took out. It's a little light through, but brand new it would just be more of a see-through red color. Now I'm going to remove this tube right here. I'm going to put it into this bottle, and then I'm going to put it down as far as I can down there at the bottom. Come here then, and then turn the wheels from all the way one side and all the way to the other to get all the oil trapped that's within the power steering system. And I'm going to do that 3 times from one side to the other, from stop to stop. Alright, now I'm going to shove some paper towels down here, so when I remove this tube it'll probably drip some fluid out just to keep it from making a mess. Got a clamp here on the hose, just gotta squeeze. Do a little twist to try to break the seal, and it's broke free, so I just pull it out. No dribble, so that's good. Alright, now I'm going to stick the hose down into the bottle and tape it up to just keep it from coming loose and spilling. Now I'm going to shove it down there. Alright, so I got the bottle shoved down there between the belt and the frame there, and I'm going to go crank the steering wheel from one stop to the other now. Okay, so I got the camera on the water bottle down there, and you'll see fluid start to come out when I crank the wheel. So I only took it from one stop on one side to the other stop on the other, and that was enough to almost fill up the bottle. So I'm going to drain this and then do it a couple more times just to make sure I got it all. Alright, so I dumped the fluid. I'm going to go shove it back down there again and crank it a couple more times back and forth. Make sure we get all the fluid out. Alright, so I'm taking it from all the way. It's going to be hard to steer. But take it all the way from one side. Till it stops, and then take it back all the way to the other side. Till it stops. And then I'll do it again. Alright, so after cranking it back and forth a couple more times, I got just a little bit more. Now it's time to put the hose back on and fill up our little tank with some fluid and crank it back and forth again. Alright, time to put the hose back on. And this type of hose clamp isn't the greatest, so if it doesn't seal up and there's a little leak, just replace the hose clamp with a screw-on type and you'll probably be fine. Alright, so I have the owner's manual out, and it says that the power steering should be a PSF-3 type fluid. I went to O'Reilly's and they said it'll take regular power steering fluid. So that's what I bought. I bought the Prestone brand. And over here it says that the power steering fluid for my 2.7 engine is 0.95 quarts. So I bought 2 quarts of this so that I made sure I had enough and then some extra. So let's go ahead and fill up the reservoir. I'm going to put my paper towels back around it in case I make a mess. Overfilled the max by a little bit so we can get some of the power steering fluid into the system when we turn the wheel from side to side. Alright, so I'm going to leave the cap off when I go to turn the wheel side to side to allow any air to escape if it needs to. So we don't want to start the car yet, we want to leave it off when we do this. Alright, so I went from one stop to the other. So you can see the fluid did go down, so it went into the system. I had it over max and you can see that it's now below minimum. So we'll go ahead and top it back off. And you can see down inside there's air bubbles still coming out, so it's still filling up the system. Alright, so I'm going to get it back up to maximum, and then...
What's maximum?
Maximum is the most it can handle.
Oh
yeah! Yeah. I'm going to let it set until those air bubbles stop coming out of the system. Alright, so the bubbles coming out of there have slowed down, or maybe even stopped. I'm going to go ahead and crank the wheel side to side from stop to stop 2 more times and see where the level is at. Okay, Rocco, let's turn the wheel side to side 2 more times. Okay, let's go see where our level is. See the fluid level down there below the hose. So let's go ahead and put more in it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and fill it up to between minimum and maximum. Now I'm going to crank the wheel back and forth 1 more time and see if anything drops. Alright, so it dropped down to minimum, so it didn't drop very much this time. So put it back up to between minimum and maximum. We'll go start the car and turn the wheel back and forth again, but this time we need to make sure we put the cap on. Alright, got everything cleared out of the way, so let's start it and turn the wheel back and forth. Alright, so I didn't let it run for very long, just to make sure we still had enough fluid. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it back to between minimum and maximum. Alright, so now we're going to take it for a drive around the block a couple times. I'm going to take both of my quarts of power steering fluid and check the level after a couple turns to make sure that everything looks okay. And then after I get back, I'll check the level again and top it off, and then we're good to go. Alright, so I drove around for about 10 minutes, took a lot of turns, drove around in town, through my community, and the fluid level didn't change, so that process worked pretty good to get the majority of the fluid back into the system, and used up most of the quart of oil, so we were able to flush most of the system out because it only holds a quart in the system.